hungry.
Brake! 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 Still to this day, I can clearly recall my dad screaming these words at me as I drove full speed towards cars that had stopped. Why? Well, this was the final challenge set by my dad as he taught me how to drive. But hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. Back in 2016, I was very excited to get my learner's license and finally learn how to drive. Just like many other teenagers, my parents took on this job, with my dad becoming my primary teacher, as over the years he had developed a strong knowledge and understanding of the roads whilst being a full-time truck driver. To begin my lessons, Dad took me onto the back streets of the Gold Coast, where he was able to slow down and clearly explain what he was doing as he drove. After demonstrating me particular manoeuvres, he then got me into the driver's seat. From here, he had me focus on accelerating, braking, and turning. After a while, he explained that only with practice would my learning become more concrete, and practice is what we did. After a while, Dad believed I was ready to leave these back streets and get onto the main roads. These roads saw me faced with whole new challenges, such as pedestrians, other drivers, traffic lights, roundabouts, and how the list goes on. Oh my goodness, there was so much to consider, and I was terrified. Lucky for me, I had my dad next to me, who remained calm, confident, and supportive. Driving on main roads also included staggered stages too. I went from short drives that I knew on streets that I knew like the back of my hand to ones I never knew existed. Through hours of practice, this soon was no longer a challenge. So what next? Well, next came long distances, highways and country roads. Through all three were unfamiliar to me yet again. However, with Dad's support and him sitting next to me, I knew I was well equipped to learn. Dad had just one more challenge after this for me. Towing. And wow, how this memory makes my heart race. Picture this. A car holding a family of 4. A trailer attached. The boot loaded. A learner driver travelling at 100 kilometres an hour. Her foot still on the accelerator as cars in front of her started to brake. Brake! 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 Are you waiting for the bang? Well, I am very happy to say that the bang never followed, but rather the very strong smell of burned rubber. I guess it's important to remember that when driving, you should be looking a lot further ahead rather than the one that is simply in front of you. It was because of Dad's experience that he had been doing this, and thankfully so, because who knows, if he hadn't, this story could have ended very differently. Now let's have a look at the story. Immediately upon listening to it, there is a strong identification of a student-teacher dynamic, despite the characters being of a female father and daughter relationship. The student-teacher dynamic allows the pathway for teaching to happen and learning to occur. In this story, Dad begins the driving lessons off in quiet back streets, whilst adding in new challenges and staggered stages. It is because of these staggered stages that learning is incorporated that are strong link to the Australian Professional Standards 2, Know the Content and How to Teach It is seen. Focus Area 2.1 and 2.2 are where connections are strongest. By planning and organising lessons into a structured format, Dad was able to demonstrate his content knowledge and ability to effectively teach it. Throughout the story, Dad also displays care. Care is one of 6 values outlined in the Queensland Code of Ethics for Teachers. It is in this document that care is defined as being seen when a teacher displays empathy, whilst also being committed to the student's well-being by ensuring they remain positive, supportive, and professional. It is through Dad's verbal encouragement and support and confidence that he was able to display care. It is important to note that none of this learning would have happened if it was not for Dad's effective communication. When teaching content, Dad used a range of verbal and non-verbal techniques. This was seen when he slowed down in the back streets and clearly showed me and told me what he was doing in particular manoeuvres. The learning content of I do, you do is just one of Dad's techniques he used to teach. Teaching and learning can occur everywhere and anywhere. So have a look and see what you will learn next. Thank you.